Otherwise, I think we just have to make sure that the counselors are comfortable.
Last point, Chancellor, what's the plan we go from here? What knowledge do we else and other details we have to do? What would be the end?
So then, now the question is, kind of what's the wind down of this?
Do we need to assign someone to work with the parents? It could be that there's going to be a parent arriving, within 24 hours or something of that sort.
You might want the body ship code. There are all sorts of, home to China. There are all sorts of.
So, if they're going to arrive at the airport, should we have someone meet them and transport them and say, go and visit, the coroner if that's the case for the release of the body or whatever the case.
Sometimes the parents want to see the room. Sometimes the parents want to meet friends. Sometimes the parents want to pack for students. Sometimes they don't want anything to do with campus. So there needs to be some sensitivity to the parents and the family.
Okay, I think we should probably assign somebody to be personally responsible for dealing with this. You have someone in your organization who would be appropriate?
Yeah, I do. There could be somebody from either Housing Shanda, maybe Ken Jackson, who's the director of the Housing Center. I think that would be important to have.
Shanda may be doing with other things as well as the housing.
But time will pass.
Yeah, but
usually the parents, it takes a while for the parents to get here.
And I think whoever we use to make the phone call, we may wish to assign them to Ken, so that if there are language issues, that can be addressed as well, and sort of do it as a tag team.
We may want to make hotel accommodations for the parents when they arrive.
And if we need to be briefed by legal about what is and isn't permissible for them, so that will help them not kind of run into red tape. Probably want to do that.
Yeah, we'll be working through the coroner until the releases that body. So anything to do with that, we have to go. Through the coroner.
Yeah. But we just want to be sure that we're providing the help to the family, so they don't feel like they've got to negotiate this without our aid.
We may want to have a discussion on cultural issues, so that we don't do anything unintentionally that's offensive. And so we can be briefed along those lines.
If students, Chinese students, want to plan a memorial service or something like that, we might want to assist them that way.
And that should be an opportunity for the whole campus, to participate in something similar to that.
I agree, but sometimes there are specific groups of people that like to plan and want to take a role in planning that.
I would say that probably for any sort of trailing consequences, we're going to rely on Shanda and Abbas to communicate maybe with you, and then you can communicate with whoever from this team as appropriate.
Do we need to do any thought on ongoing updating of the campus in terms of how this proceeds? I'm talking about not just the first 24 hours, but the second, and so on and so forth. Is that something that we need to talk about here?
I think as the coroner permits us to release information, that's got to go to Wes, and Wes should be fashioning statements, because there's going to be a couple of days anyway when the press is going to want ongoing statements.
I suspect the Channel 2 people who were calling me will be on campus soon after this last alert, and we'll have other TV media here too, and so we'll be in a position where we'll have to do some on-air interviewing, either with the coroner or yourself or myself and the coroner.
But yeah, for all of that, I think we'll probably be on defense more than offense, and Wes will be the point person.
I would recommend we may have to get more security staff to keep the press out of the building, and so residents can kind of live their lives as normally as possible, because they wouldn't be allowed in the building anyway. But because staff can only do so much, we might need a different kind of presence at the doors.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and what I would say is any of those needs that you have, if you communicate those to Mindy, we'll see that you get them met.
I have a question. Even if the coroner's report takes a few weeks, how involved should the school be at that point to release information? Still,
we can't release anything beyond what we're authorized to.
Right. We'll say the coroner comes and says, this is what happened.
Yeah.
You mean in 2 or 3 weeks have passed, your question
Yeah.
is release it then?
Yes. Is that, we're involved still?
I think at any time there is a change,
Okay.
anything different from what has been, we have to be involved and we have to be transparent.
I suspect after a reasonable period of time after the information the media get will come from the coroner's office. And then after any updates, then they'll come to us wanting reaction.
Yeah. And that will all go through Wes.
Do we need to make any notification to the State Department? That's just a question, I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that, and that's what our legal counsel would probably think.
I'm not sure we explicitly stated that we contacted West Lafayette and made them aware of the situation.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. I missed
Yeah,
it.
early on.
5:05.
Thank you. Okay, should we stop?
That's it.
Okay, comments. Now we're turning the fishbowl around, and we want you to tell us how we handled this. Are there things we should have done differently? Did we miss anything? Yes.
I think we're doing well. Could we possibly locate the roommates to make sure that was the actual roommate and see if anybody has seen her prior to the incident?
That's all part of the criminal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know
The
that
whole
we can,
investigation involved in where she was before, the last time she was seen, who was present, who last saw her, and all that's part of an investigation.
Part of the scenario was the police was asking for a room so they
you
could
are the-
interview all those people involved.
I know that being RA, a lot of students come up to us whenever anything happens. I mean, what, are we gonna be informed exactly what to say?
Yes.
Here? And as far as a receptionist, I know you said that you're gonna set up a call, plan where you call out, I don't know what you call it, I forgot. But would they be able to contact our receptionist still too? You know what I'm saying, would that? Our service desk, would that call?
That's a very good point. And if we were in the middle of this and you said, you know, how are we going to get information? Can we get it through the service desk? We would set that up.
Would anything be done to protect the parents' privacy? Because the press will probably be all over them as well.
Parents are in China, People's Republic.
I thought I remember something about they were sent over here.
Yeah, if they're around.
If you
You
think,
mean once they arrive, which
arrive.
might be sometime later.
But I mean, if the press was still pursuing it, yeah, we would protect their confidentiality and not necessarily expose them to the press.
We probably assign somebody to be with
We're
them.
just handling, yeah.
Yes.
Excuse me, maybe another aid to help with the identification process is that every semester, when everybody takes their ID pictures, a roster of everybody's name along with their picture will be sent to Shanda and the boss, so that way they can kind of cut out the trying to identify this person. You can just look at the roster and see their picture and their name.
That might be something the coroner's office is asking for those pictures, and they probably happy to get them.
Yeah, if we could do that, that's
is that a good idea?
Student ID process is one of the issues we generate.
Right.
Especially since we have so many Chinese students and they tend to use American names
Right.
instead of their official names, and it will help out a lot.
Every student who has an ID has their name and a digitized photo in electronic storage.
Right, it's in the database, and they should also have a card.
So is it possible to access that database and print names and photos
so.
of all those living in
What the
housing?
quality is going to be. changed.
Well,
Yeah,
understood.
but yeah, we've done that ourselves with the
Yeah.
staff.
I suspect housing would have to identify the names, and they could print all those names. There wouldn't be
Right.
anything in the database that indicate
You
that.
could just push the button, can't you?
That's a really good suggestion.
Could I get access to a photo?
And maybe just keep it in a digitized record as opposed to have it printed and just put up.
Yeah, it wouldn't be
Right.
real quick.
That would be better, yeah.
I can tell you that.
If you get the
We can
phone.
get, as long as they've got a photo ID.